swear at me. Be mean. Don't eat on the phone. This is gonna make me gag. Hello and welcome to the Banter podcast, where Dana and I talk about whatever the heck we want, and you guys have tuned in to listen. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Dana, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I just chugged a bit of coffee, got some work done, put out a really off the kilter, sleep deprived YouTube video out. DRG. How about you?
I've had a pretty awesome day, a pretty good week. I am becoming a very well-behaved insurance selling drone for my new job. So that's fun.
You make it sound like you're chained to your desk, but you really aren't, judging from how talk about how it's okay.
I'm really not. I joke. The job is actually fairly nice. I've so far been paid to read like 5 novels. I have nearly 2,000 pages of various books that I've read through in between my phone calls. And I've been paid to do it. And it's wonderful. It's very peaceful. Nice.
Gosh, is that okay to say? Release.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, my job is very chill with what we do between our phone calls. They encourage us to brush up on what the most current news is and what the best business practices are through our online tools and information. And I do keep up with it, but I need something to help me disconnect one call from the next, so each of my callers get a fresh me. And for me, that's just novels, books, tons of words and ink. As long as we're not on our phones or anything crazy, no one bats an eye at us. It's great.
That explains why no ebooks. Okay.
Yeah. I wouldn't even risk trying to look that stuff up on the computer because everything's monitored on the computer. But they don't care that I've got a fantasy fiction novel on my desk.
Well, that sounds great. I'm very glad that your new job has been treating you well. Ever since that first reveal that you got the job in the first pilot episode.
Yeah, it's been wonderful. I'm through the majority of training, and it's just sort of getting settled in the job itself. Finally, it's just doing what I do. I do have some sad news this week. I was spending some time with my actual team, the one that I'll be with for a long time, and we got to sit with them in one of the upper floors on the other side of the complex. We had sunlight. We had bookshelves built into our cabinets and our cubicles. It was very nice, beautiful, nice kind of environment. And some corporate execs came through, saw the desks, said those should be empty. We're going to fill those with other people. And me and one of the other new hires that were with me got shipped back to the dungeons.
Oh.
It's called the dungeons, but it's just we share a space with the facility management team in one of the service hallways, so we can see them driving by on their giant carts and stuff, and we're just taking calls in what looks like a service tunnel.
Oh. It's kind of fun to think about, though.
It is. The whole facility is huge, and you're gonna see a lot of it when you're in my position. I've basically been in and out of most of the building already. I've just not been on the head exec floors.
Well, I'm very glad. I can imagine it, though, because I have walked through something that is similar.
If you ever come over here, I'll give you a tour of the place where I work, because they allow tours if you want to bring a friend or family.
Hey, walk around. Look at all the restaurants on there.
I was about to say, I'll treat you to some sushi.
Yay.
But how about you? What's been new this week for you?
Not much, just playing new games. I played that Code Vein with Floor, and otherwise I've just been reading as well. Gosh, I'm gonna start to become bookworms. Actually, no, you probably were already a bookworm, huh?
I was for a long time. I actually took sort of a hiatus from the physical media after my baby was born.
Right. The baby is the book.
Baby consumes all time and space.
No. You think of it this way. It's a new story, a new chapter.
You can't go
Chapter
me into
1.
spinning this.
Chapter 1. Where?
God.
Oh, I'm kidding. No, but I know your family is actually it's really nice. No, other than that, I have just been reading a lot of manga and stuff and hanging out with you guys.
Yeah, it's
manga,
appreciated.
Novels. I recently started subscribing to an all-you-can-eat light novel manga place called J Novel Club, not affiliated.
Yeah, you sent me a link. I need to check that out because as much as I like the service that I use, they're kind of limited, and they put the latest chapters of everything behind a paywall. So
yeah, in this case, it would be the opposite.
Yeah, you pay to get in, and then you just read everything. It looks like I really want to check it out, especially if they've got some of the almost
everything. It's the opposite. So you can read the stuff that's new, but anything old you cannot. Unless you rent for like 40 coins or something. It's not very expensive. It's like 40 cents equivalent.
Okay. Might be a loophole then. I read it on my my one site and then I jump over to that site and just finish it.
There you go. You should tell me that site actually.
Wait, what?
You should tell me that site, especially if it's like manga and light novels.
Oh, it's not the light novels. It's just Webtoon.
Oh, okay.
And they got some streamlined manhwas in there, and they got a whole bunch of other stuff that's like indie creators. So I won't find it anywhere but on Webtoon. I'll be checking out your site. So yeah, we've basically been becoming bookworms this last week when we're not playing games or doing our usual day jobs. Anything else crazy?
I'm escaping in fantasy land.
That reminds me we need to play more Kingdom Hearts soon.
Yes. Still have a lot of recordings left.
I appreciate that you're putting some of it out as videos, but like the game itself is beautiful, man. I just love that game.
Especially for like old graphics.
It's a non-stop nostalgia trip for me. Like I will admit I've got rose tinted glasses for the entire series.
I do too. I'm hoping to get past Kingdom Hearts 3 and then just everything else and anticipate for Kingdom Hearts 4.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3 was so good. It almost makes me want to dust off my PS4 and try and play it again, but that's another time. We're talking about things.
Yes.
Was there any other small talk you wanted to go through real quick?
It ended up segueing to pet peeves.
I mean, we can start with pet peeves, which brings us to today's topic: guilty pleasures and pet peeves, the little idiosyncrasies that make us unique individuals.
Unique quotations.
We're all special snowflakes, Data. Quotation marks. So something that I thought was fairly common, that if you find out the downside, you stop pretty quick. I used to, when I was a kid, love the smell of gasoline when my parents would when we'd stop to fill up the tank.
Oh, me too.
It was weird. Right. It was weird, and my parents would tell me, don't inhale the fumes. I was like, I don't know why. And eventually someone explained it kills your brain cells. Huffing gas is like something that people do to get like a pseudo high, but it like completely trashes your brain.
Yeah, kind of like inhaling Sharpies.
Don't even get me started. They made scented Sharpies.
What? Why?
They just did. Someone decided, like, man, we like huffing markers anyway. Let's make them blueberry scented. And then there's a brand of Sharpies that's specifically for people who like to huff it. I don't remember. It's like an adult brand of Sharpie.
Adult brand with the giant warning label. Please, if you sniff this, you know what you're doing. What is adult branded Sharpies like?
I know that people, just like gasoline, can sometimes huff the fumes from a Sharpie marker. I remember someone once told me that there was a brand of marker like Sharpie, not Sharpie itself, but another similar brand that basically just alludes to the fact they know people are sniffing it, and they're like whatever about it. And then there are just scented versions of it. I learned this from some of my new coworkers.
Okay. Well, I mean, in a way, they must have removed some parts that were actually bad. Obviously, I would still never, ever stick a marker up my nose and just inhale.
I would really hope not, because, like, That can't be good for your head either. This is more trying to get at some guilty pleasures people have. I don't want to turn this into conversations about illegitimate highs and questionable practices.
You're right.
So pulling a little bit away from that, what's something that you enjoy that's not for everybody?
I'd say so.
Oh boy.
I like the smell. Well, actually, no. I like the whole process of getting a match, striking it, and then smelling it. Not like putting it next to my nose, but just smelling the fire. It's very similar to campfire smoke. I don't know. It's got that, I guess, nostalgia in a way. Maybe my little pyromania speaks to me whenever I do it, but let's just hope that I don't hand you the match based off of our last podcast.
Oh no. Do you think there's something unique about the scent of ignited magnesium that's triggering something, I don't know, happy in you?
Is it magnesium? Oh, I was just talking about the burning wood.
Oh, the wood itself.
Yeah. I didn't even know that. I don't even know what burning magnesium smells like.
Yeah, it's that red stuff that's like daubed up on the end of the matchstick. That's magnesium. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay. No, I was just talking more about the wood burning.
Is that the magnesium, or is the scratch pad on the side of the box magnesium? I need to double check.
But it is a igniting agent.
Yeah, it very much is. Yeah, going on the topic of smells, because that's not where I expected us to be right now. I am a sucker for the smell of a coffee shop and coffee scented candles.
Yes.
It's just so soothing. Like just the smell of the pots of coffee, I guess, it just calms me right down, which is funny because coffee is a stimulant.
About that though, the smell of coffee, there is a study. They found out that just the smell, not even drinking the coffee, but just the smell of coffee gives people that soothing and almost like day jump start.
Like it's just part of the routine. The smell of coffee tells your brain, hey, it's that time again.
I think so. Like just endorphins are just being released and happiness. But I don't know if they did studies on people who are not coffee drinkers or have never even had coffee.
That makes sense. I mean, other people wake up with tea. Some people have different routines entirely. They just wake up with some good old fashioned exercise. Like everybody's got their own method of it, but I am proud to say that I am a coffee drinker, and I will probably be one for a long time, at least until the kidney stones start. Yep. I don't have a problem. You have a problem.
But I totally agree. Walking into a coffee shop smells absolutely amazing. You're just making coffee at home using an espresso machine, or even my instant coffee like smells amazing. Makes me very, very happy, very ready for the day.
It is definitely one of those smells that I could never just get tired of. When I was a barista, though, I unfortunately became nose blind to coffee for a while, and that made me sad.
I thought that was the place where you got the addiction.
I loved the smell of coffee for a long time, even before I became a barista. Even when I wasn't a coffee maniac, just the smell of coffee, because my dad made coffee in the house all the time. And yes. I loved going down the coffee grinds aisle at our local store. This smell was always just so, I don't even know like obviously aromatic, but it's like earthy and just, it made me happy. And I've had that feeling since I was a kid. It was like probably, funnily enough, I learned my love for the smell of coffee, just the grinds and everything, shortly after I was informed that gasoline will destroy your brain.
Oh.
Yeah, it's funny. We were just going into the grocery store, and we walked down the coffee aisle, and I was like, I kept wanting to go back, keep smelling it. And it became just a regular guilty pleasure of just finding a reason to walk through the aisle when we went to the store. And now I'm an adult, and just the smell of coffee always makes me smile. But yeah, when I worked as a barista,
I just imagine a tiny Lycan running through the coffee aisle with arms outstretched, going,
Not quite. I'd have my like arms behind my back and I would try to be walking really nonchalant, which is really silly looking for like a 10-year-old. And
like an old man.
Just like taking my time and trying not to be too obvious that I'm just breathing deeply. It's just no place in that aisle whatsoever for my age.
Yeah. No, I get you though. Like as a kid, I also grew accustomed to smelling the delicious scent of coffee from my father and mother.
Good memories. What I was trying to say is after I became a barista, like I got to enjoy that coffee smell all the time for a while. But after working there for like 2 weeks and going home with it baked into my clothes, I stopped smelling coffee. Like stopped noticing it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it happens. So you become nose blind to the scents that are constantly around you, and it sucks. It took months after I quit being a barista for coffee to regain its appeal.
It makes me wonder though, like whoever, if Allie was Allie living with you at the time?
No, Allie and I didn't start living together until after a year of dating. And so she did work as a barista for Barnes and Noble actually after that.
Oh, that's like one of the best places to work, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's very nice. Unfortunately, the Barnes & Noble that she used to work at shut down recently. They're moving locations, but like all of the employees got scattered to different locations still in our city. So.
Sucks. But no, I was just going to say, like, I just imagine if you come home, just you don't smell it, but everyone else around you who lives with you smells it, and she just goes up to you and go,
Oh my God. I didn't even think of that, but thankfully no. At that time I wasn't living with my folks, so my entire barista career was away from them, thankfully.
Oh, okay.
Most of it. There was a period I'm not going to get into, but yeah, guilty pleasure, the smell of coffee. Any other guilty pleasures you can think of that won't shame you forever on the internet?
I don't know, I feel like I've already have shame all over the internet somewhere, all over the face of the internet. Yeah, wording, bud. I'm so sorry. I don't know. After hanging out with you and Floor at the same time, just my speech has regressed. Not in a bad way, but like regressed to, what it used to be like.
I get what you're saying. I'm a bad influence. We've gone over this. Your swearing got so much worse after you met me.
I didn't even swear before.
No, you didn't. You started swearing after we met.
Gosh dang it.
Oh, that's funny though. Even though I swear like a sailor constantly around you, sometimes not as bad in your videos, I don't swear at all once I cross a threshold at work. Like it somehow switches off.
The swear barrier. The swearier.
This little voice in the back of my head is like, you want to keep this job, right? And it just does its job.
I'm glad you have that filter.
Too. My wife would not be happy if I didn't.
Another, I guess, interesting pleasure would book related. I looked to my left and I just saw like books just sitting in there. I don't have a bookshelf actually. I just have 3 books sitting on top of a cardboard box. I'm pretty sure a lot of people will relate to this, but when you open a book, the feel of the pages, the smell of the book, apparently is very calming. Sometimes though it smells really bad, but for the most part it's got that certain book smell, which is the reason why a lot of people don't want to go onto ebooks, at least there for a time.
You know what? I really don't care for the smell of a new book. It does nothing for me.
Oh, not even a new book. Like it could be the library book. Sometimes some library books are kind of funky in my opinion, but it could be because of the previous patron.
For me, I've always like attributed it to like the smell of mildew or just sawdust, because I used to do projects in my grandfather's back shed and he had a whole bunch of woodworking tools. Like the smell of books was just musty.
I realized we do a lot of smelling.
Yeah, I thought we would have more to talk about than just what we like to inhale. Maybe it's a sign that we should start talking about things we don't like. That could be maybe a little more exciting.
Hold on though. Let's just pause the recording. Let's appeal to our 5 senses: taste, touch, hear, smell.
I'm listening.
What's the 5th one?
So taste. touch, smell, hearing.
Oh, and visual. Because we've just been talking about smelling. Otherwise, I'll just be talking about how delicious something else smells.
Okay. I guess if we're just trying to talk about what we like to look at, I love images of stars and the night sky. I very much enjoy just sort of that soft starlight. It's very calming for me. The kind of bleeds into, like, I use dark mode for all of my stuff electronically. Star themes pop up quite a bit for me. That's not exactly abnormal, but pleasant for the visual. And then, what is a taste that I'm constantly... I still craved strawberries. I just constantly crave the taste of strawberries. And that is a guilty pleasure because my wife hates strawberries.
Oh,
Like, hates them. She wouldn't blink twice if the fruit disappeared from Earth. It's just the smell of them makes her gag, and she believes she's allergic to either the strawberries themselves or the mold that's common to grow on them. But strawberries are just so good to me, and I can't help it. I occasionally crave like a strawberry muffin at work or a strawberry milkshake. Just want it, man.
I would love a strawberry milkshake, actually. You ever gone to like those diners and just order a milkshake as it was intended back in the 60s?
You know, I have had a strawberry milkshake and a strawberry malt at like one of those 60s looking diners. I have. Malts are so thick. It's like, why even give me the straw? This is useless.
Oh, is that why my milkshakes were so thick? Okay, they were actually malts.
Yeah, and all the malt is like an added powder that thickens the milk. And it's just like, why? I don't understand. Why is this popular? I don't know. Maybe I was just because I'm not from that time.
I realized we were talking about how things are kind of nice and not exactly guilty pleasures. They're not guilty. They're just pleasures.
My cravings for strawberries is a guilty pleasure. My wife, if I'm caught with anything strawberry related or if it's on my breath, she won't go anywhere near me. And she's accepted that it's just something I like to do, but she has very strict boundaries about it. And I always feel so bad.
Yeah, that is a real guilty pleasure. Honestly, I really don't know. Do I feel guilt when I do something? I do.
A guilty pleasure could be like making a stop on your way home to a fast food place without telling anyone, because you just want to enjoy it in peace and you just make the evidence disappear. You know, like it could be just treating yourself and not sharing. That feels like a guilty pleasure. Like I think I stopped for some for those nuggets and fries the other day. You were talking to me when I made that stop at Mickey D's.
Oh yeah.
I didn't tell my wife. I ate those and I hid the evidence.
Oh, I see. Okay.
That's
funny though.
pleasure.
I was looking for lists of guilty pleasures because I completely forgot what mine were, and I just keep getting articles about how guilty pleasures aren't guilty at all. That's funny. But no, maybe we should change it instead of guilty pleasures to like strange pleasures.
Possibly. I get you.
Here's a pleasure I like to do. At least I used to back when I was in college. Instead of studying like I should have, and instead of doing most of my homework, I would do one of two things. One is to research the best or how to do things. So how can I be the best person I can be, basically? Or just what's the chemical makeup of blah, 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 blah. And then I would just see what it does, if it's bad for you. Like sucralose, is it bad for you? What's the best route of action to do whatever, so and so. And then the second one is to tinker with my computer. Yeah, I installed Linux. I did all that. I had a grand total of 256 megabytes of RAM with like a single core CPU. I don't know, it was an old computer that was passed down. It's like, how can I make this work just fine these days? I just put in like, not Ubuntu, but some sort of light version of Linux with a GUI.
Jesus. You, sir, were addicted to procrastination.
I was, but I enjoyed it.
I mean, yeah, probably some people, some really nice hobbies spring up from procrastination, I'm sure. Discovering what makes you happy between the lines of responsibility.
Yeah.
I think my wife's hobby is just buying things.
Retail therapy.
Yeah, something like that. She's got these little hobbies on the side. Like she has an art tablet for drawing. She has all this yarn for like knitting and crochet, and she's got art supplies for painting, and she has all these things. And I know she has an artist's soul, but she just buys more of it. And
I'll say I can relate. Well, I mean, I can relate, but I can't buy it, I guess.
And like she started making me a new blanket and she stopped. And then I was like, well, you're doing crochet. Why don't you crochet me a little wolf? And she's got like the supplies and the instruction book and the needles. Hasn't done it. And I know part of it is she's dealing with everything else, but it's like,
yeah,
I know she has the supplies and the wants, but she's also dealing with all the stuff in the background that's either stressing her out or making her feel like she doesn't have time. And then I have to force her out of the house sometimes to get a break.
Oh, for her to get a break.
Yeah, no, like baby's having a tantrum. I just hand her keys, a jacket, her shoes, and I push her out the door and I say, don't come back for 4 hours. I'm going to clean up the apartment and make the baby behave. She comes back and she's refreshed and I've cleaned up.
Oh, okay, that's very good.
Yeah, that's the kind of kicking the life out that I mean. Like she gets close to burnout and I need to separate her from our daughter so that she has some time to recharge.
Yeah, there are definitely a lot of people out there, probably me included. I don't know. Do you think I overwork myself sometimes and I just need someone to pull me away?
You fixate hard. Like you talked about liking to procrastinate earlier, but your version of procrastination nowadays are just different forms of mental or emotional labor. And it's editing videos and doing art or taking care of your grandma. And then I'm like, hey, you want to go procrastinate? Give yourself some you time. You're like, sure.
No,
going back to me being a bad influence.
That sounds about right. No, but I think it does balance me out. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Speaking of all the good things that we got, do you have at least one more guilty pleasure you wanted to throw out there, or just pleasure or something you like to do?
Weird pleasures, like. Damn, I really should have written like a list, but I was so busy.
11:06 p.m. Central Standard Time. Data swore. Okay, took a note.
Wait, what did I swear?
You said damn.
Oh.
Just more evidence of me being a terrible influence. I love it. You will never be the same. Anyway, speaking of terrible things, I wanted to touch on pet peeves. I really thought this would be the spicier part of the conversation. What really irritates you? What is something that happens way more than it prefer? Maybe it's something that in life that you can't escape, but just upsets you to no end. I can start.
Know.
Go on.
Living. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Oh no.
I'm kidding.
That's not safe for the internet, Taylor. Why?
Okay. I just want to have fun doing this podcast. I mean, I am, but like, I'm gonna look at every comment of honestly same, and I'm gonna be like, I want to hug all of you, you poor people. I feel so bad. Oh my god, that was surprisingly dark from you. I don't know. I feel like I've gotten darker in the past couple years.
He's fine, people. I swear, he's okay. He's eating all of his Wheaties. He's waking up in the mornings. I check on him daily. He's alive.
Man, Wheaties. Actually, no. What are they called again? Really thick wheat squares.
Oh, sometimes half of it's frosted, right?
Yeah,
frosted mini wheats.
There we go. Anyways,
yeah,
pet peeves.
Yeah, pet peeves.
Before we go into I love food binge.
Yeah, but we've already covered food in a previous episode. We can cover it again in the future if you want, but like, it's not good. Calm down, man. I spent the first half of this episode talking about liking to smell things. We bring up food, we'll never leave the topic. All right. So pet peeves. Gosh darn it, I'm going to keep on to the topic of food. I hate food in the bed. I hate it.
Yeah. Me too.
Crumbs, stains, random pieces of debris, trash. If it should be on a dining room table, it shouldn't be where you lay your head down.
Yeah, especially chips.
It's just, yeah, chips. Chips are a big one. Toast. It's just like anything that you would eat that would leave crumbs or stains or grease. It gives me the ick. It gives me a major ick to see it on a bed or a couch. Just anywhere you lounge. But even I've been guilty of eating food at my like computer desk, but there's at least a solid surface for that, you know? And I try to be clean about it. But like my baby girl likes to, oh gosh, she's got a habit that makes my eye twitch. If you give her a bag of chips, she will dump the bag somewhere. She doesn't like to reach into the bag. She'll just upturn it and dump it onto a surface that has been my bed, that has been my couch, that's been the entertainment center, and on some occasion it's just the floor.
And then she'll eat it?
Yes. Well, she'll eat some of it, and then sometimes she'll just slap and crush it.
Oh no.
Right on my bed, right on my couch, on the floor, and yeah, even when she does on the floor, she'll try and eat some of it. I'm like, no, I've given it to her on a plate, bag free. She will pour the plate out somewhere else to play with the chips. She has a fake little kitchen set with like a fridge door and a mini oven. It's all plastic. It's just whatever. She filled the entire bottom of the playset with Lay's potato chips.
Oh boy. She just laid it right on there, didn't she?
You're hilarious. I had to clean that up. And you know what? Sorry. It doesn't bother me as nearly as much as if she dumps it out on the couch. Like in the toy, it's contained. It took a little work to clean up and get all the grease out of the tray and make sure there were no pieces of chip in the bottom that were going to cause issues later. But like that's fine. She at least associated food with a refrigerator, you know? But it's just like, why otherwise? I don't understand that.
Yeah, nothing's worse than feeling really tired from a day's work, jumping onto the bed, and then feeling and hearing the crunch all over your back, especially when you don't wear a shirt.
God, I think just general clutter bothers me in bed specifically.
There was this one other pet peeve you had. I think it had something to do with, phone call, and someone on the other end doing something somewhere.
Oh my God. I'm gonna shame one of my members. We call them members for my job instead of customers. You have to be a certain kind of piece of crap to make business phone calls in a restaurant. just sat at a table surrounded by other people in a restaurant, and you decide this is the perfect time to call my insurance company because everyone around me wants to hear what I'm covering for my homeowner's policy. Why is this the time?
Not to mention the possibility of having to, I think almost business calls all do this, especially if you remember, like ask insensitive information.
Oh yeah, no, that's another thing. And if she's like, I'm kind of in a public place right now, I don't want to give you my social security number out loud. Okay, call us back. Maybe when you're in privacy. No, this lady had some nerve, and she was eating while she talked to us, and we could hear her chew. That alone makes you want to hang up. I'm like, oh my God, swear at me, be mean, don't eat on the phone. This is gonna make me gag. The only thing worse than that is to have that stunning realization that the trickling you can hear is the member or caller on the toilet. And I'm like, I did not need to be in this conversation while you were taking a piss.
Oh no,
that's already way too much. Oh my God.
I've heard like similar horror stories of group Discord calls, or someone's just like, "Oh, I'll be right back," and their microphone is so sensitive, or like their bathroom is right next to the microphone. You just hear everything.
Oh my god, my DM is wonderful fella. He left himself unmuted on purpose so he could sing us a rendition of Part of Your World from The Little Mermaid. The whole time he was getting snacks for himself. He's just belting it out in his apartment, and he was singing so loud we could hear it while he was in the next room over on the Discord call.
Oh,
Dude is a trip.
he was doing it on purpose.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. He went hard into singing that Little Mermaid song, and he came back proud of himself.
Little sparkles around his eyes.
Yeah, no, Serge, if you're listening to this, I appreciate you, man. Never stop being you. But no, that's fine. It's people doing people things and taking care of their lives is fine. But mute, please. Say you have something to do. Excuse yourself from a public venue. Don't eat your food in my ear. It just feels like little requests that shouldn't be too hard to follow.
Oh my gosh, you gave me an idea. Imagine calling someone but having an ASMR like microphone with two microphones, you know, the one that looks like ears.
Oh my god.
Like on Discord or something, I don't know.
That would be funny. I don't know if the quality of the call would be appreciated by any representatives who take that. But I think it's funny if you're in like a game lobby with like random people and they notice that your microphone quality is so much better. They almost always assume you're a streamer. That happened to me a lot before I even started streaming, when I started getting some better audio quality.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so the people are actually asking you?
Yeah, I had a couple of people like, "Are you a streamer? You sound like someone I watch." And I was like, No, I am not. I am just goofy for the fun of it. I don't need views. Then I started trying to stream. It was a whole adventure.
But anyway, now you're on YouTube videos.
I am. Great God. I'm still a little stunned. It's fun. It is really fun to come on here and shoot the breeze with you and talk about various things and go over news. But it's like, it doesn't feel real yet, I guess you could say. Like, I've been in your videos and I've hung out, and I've become sort of not numb to being recorded, but it doesn't feel like I've done anything myself. You know? I
think I know what you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, like I'm just your friend now. That's all this is right now.
We're just having fun. Yeah, like like you said before, my video is literally just an archive of us having fun.
Oh yeah, some of the original stuff. I still occasionally go back to the two of us in that fighter jet when it ran out of fuel. It's just fun to pull up every once in a while. Like that's like a key memory for our friendship for me.
Yes, it didn't explode.
Just calmly, casually slurping your ramen as we plummet to our deaths.
Back to the pet peeves. What really grates my irons? Am I even made of iron? I don't know.
Iron in your blood. Unless you're anemic.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm anemic or not. I feel all tired all the time. I have a feeling I have some sort of anemia, despite being like extremely active, or used to be. Oh, here is one pet peeve I used to have as a kid. Sometimes these days as well too, but I would sit down, like, let's just say I get off school, sat down, turned on like PlayStation, turned on the monitors, and just went into gamer mode, like gamer hunch mode. And then not even when I hit the title screen, one of my parents would be like, "Hey, go do this, go do that, go throw the trash."
I know. Like they were almost waiting for you to sit down and be like, "It's time for me to relax," and then it's just constant interruption. I am fully on your side about that. I still get that sometimes.
Yeah, like it would be one thing. It's like, "Oh, hey, maybe in like after you're done playing, can you please take out the trash?" No, it's just go take out the trash right now. But I just finished everything else.
Exactly.
No, I think. Have you been on the other side though, where you do that to someone else?
I am hyper aware of if I'm bothering someone.
Me too.
Or at the very least, I'm hypersensitive to it. If it feels like I'm bothering someone from reading a book, watching a video, playing a game, I will just ask to bother them later.
Yes.
I'll walk away.
However, now I know you don't do it on purpose, and I don't take it the wrong way either, but for some strange reason, it's not just
Lord.
you, but like almost all
I
our
am
friends.
what I hate.
No. It's slightly different, but at the same time, it's like the timing of everything. I just finally finished, I don't know, video editing, or finally just sat down doing something, or even like going to go cook, and immediately 1 minute after I get off my seat, and I don't check my phone until like after I cook, I get a message from you. It's like, hey, are you available?
That's just bad timing. I'm talking like I walk into a room and start talking before I look and see someone's got a book open and they're just pleasure reading, and I'm like, oh, this may be bad time. I can come back later. I feel bad for interrupting you, but I can't visually see, oh, Data's cooking for his grandma and mom. I can bug him later. I can't see that.
Yeah,
I can just be like, hey, Data, poke. Hey, Data, poke. Funny meme, poke. Here's a video, poke. Have you ever considered going to space? Poke. And I'll just spam you 3 to 20 times until I stop and you're like, I went and I cooked for my family. Hi, hello, let me catch up. Okay, sure, I'm free. Let's talk.
Yeah, it's completely different, but and you can't. No one can tell. Even when I put my status on, it just doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't show for some reason. But I just think it's funny.
No, that is funny, and it makes me feel slightly like a hypocrite, but not completely.
I'm not calling you out. Don't worry.
No, I'd call myself out first. Don't you worry about that.
There was this one time though when in the past, before meeting all of you, I was on the other side of the pet peeve where I see that someone's available and then would just ask like, hey, can you please do this? But that's only because I know that they're available.
Gotcha.
Or at least they're not busy with something like actually work related. And I just see them. And then I realized, oh, they're taking a break. And then that's when I feel bad.
Yeah, but it's because I've been on the other side of it that I'm like, no one is owed your free time, especially if you want to spend it. And so it's like if someone's like, nah, I don't want to do that thing right now. I was like, okay, cool, enjoy yourself. We've had a couple of friends who know how to speak up and say, no, I'd rather do X, Y, or Z. And I'm glad for that because it helped me adjust my mindset to just let them be. It's not that they hate you. It's just they have something they'd rather do right now, or they have a previous obligation. No big deal.
Yeah, exactly. It's another thing though when it's your parents. They know that you're gonna play video games, so they're gonna make you do something. No,
it's planned with the parents. It's just that's a thing. No, my parents did that to me too. I probably just can't recall the times that they left me alone. But it did sometimes feel like they were waiting for me to try to just enjoy myself. And I'm like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah, it was that feeling as well. Now, you, father, current father, but not quite the age of where like she starts playing on her own. You're gonna look back at this. You might look back at this.
Well, there's a difference, and I can already think of situations where I would interrupt her if she's like neglecting everything else, like her grades or chores, or if she has a pet and she's not taking care of these things. That's an acceptable justification. But I will never be that parent that's like, just pause it and she's online. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I heard so many like my friends, their mom would be like, pause it. They don't know. They don't know the games these days.
You could use that against your parents sometimes, though. It's like, oh, I need to get to a save point, and it's an autosave game. You don't have to tell them that. Like, I'll lose all of my progress. But I am immune to that in turn because I was aware. But I'm like, look, I needed my personal time sometimes, and bedtime was bull when my dad would drag me out to the garage and talk to me for hours and hours and hours until like 1 a.m. about stuff that I couldn't tell you nowadays. Not that I don't want to, but I can't remember because it was just drunken dribble.
Yeah. These days, though, you don't do that. You don't say like, oh, I need a save and stuff like that. Sometimes like there are some games that still use a manual save system.
But most games nowadays are autosave, which is in some ways nuts. But
Why?
it's fine. Well, can't abuse autosave. There's
What do you
just
mean?
something. There's something gratifying about walking into a small village with the snide villagers and then clicking the autosave button and remembering that you're the Dovahkiin.
You're the what?
The Dovahkiin, Dragonborn. You're the.
Oh.
It's a Skyrim reference.
Oh.
It's a meme.
You cut off. Sorry.
You walk into a village in Skyrim and you hit autosave, and all the villagers know they're about to be shredded to pieces by the player who just earned the werewolf transformation or some shit. I have gone into Whiterun as a werewolf and just tried to see how long I could survive tearing everything apart.
Jeez.
Like, speaking of guilty pleasures, abusing autosaves or save systems. Gotta blow off some steam every now and then.
I guess, but you know what? I tried doing that. Metal Gear Solid 5, for instance, or just any Metal Gear Solid, where you're sneaking around, and the goal is to just sneak around. At least the old games were. So they let you kill the guards, and they would call backup. And then there's a certain point where there's just no more radio chatter. Like, it becomes dead silent. And you just feel bad.
No, absolutely. But doesn't that affect the ending? You just go on a murder spree?
Kind of. There's some mechanics in the Metal Gear Solid series which not necessarily punishes. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But, you know, they know, they have a counter of how many people you've killed.
Right. And some people would go crazy about it. I used to watch a couple of streamers that were obsessed with perfect runs. Like sleep darts only, no kills, speed running the missions.
Yeah, I attained Foxhound a couple in almost all the games. Metal Gear Solid 5 though was different. Each mission would be like its own thing. And there's a thing called no traces where you don't touch the guards, you don't tranquilize them, you don't do anything to them. You can say hands up and then get on the ground, but it's like they just think it's a ghost. In a certain sense, I would do none of that. I would just try to sneak, like ultra hardcore mode. Don't do anything.
I can totally imagine you spending 100 hours just trying to get that perfect run.
Yeah, guilty pleasure, I guess. There you go.
Another pet peeve that yeah, we're finding them now that you can actually think about it. Wanting a challenge in a video game is less a guilty pleasure and more just speaks to your preference as a gamer. Going back to pet peeves, though, here's something that I'm fairly certain that you would relate to me on, like the last one I related to you, having my sleep interrupted. I get very touchy about my sleep. Mind you, I willingly give up sleep to be here for the podcast, to hang out on certain evenings. But once I am asleep, leave me alone until I get up on my own. Please.
You can tell how much it bothers Lycan because he thumps on the table and then his mic kind of auto balances it.
I'm nervously tapping my table while I think about my baby waking me up at 3 a.m. and screaming. Just screaming. Just walking into the room and it's like, you should be asleep. So upsetting.
Yay, Discord suppression at its finest.
Insert me screaming in that moment. Retroactively, fix it in post.
I don't know. I need a recording of you screaming and not the other one. That's a surprise.
None of the time. Just baby screams while I'm trying to sleep. But something I used to go through all the time when I was back living with my parents' place, sleeping on the floor in their living room because my sister stole my old room because of her baby.
Oh.
I'm very familiar with Gilmore Girls, but I don't have any love for the show because my younger sister would get up at like 6 or 5 or 6 or 7 in the morning because her baby would wake up and she'd just go out into the living room, step on me and the mattress that I had on the floor, plop on the couch next to me, and turn on the television.
Oh.
Just why?
Yeah, in that case, I would not. I would not do that at all. Someone's sleeping.
Right. Like, let me wake up. Let me go. Don't just decide I'm done and boot me out of my sleeping space. I eventually things got better for me, thankfully, but like that's just a big one that probably permanently set me as a don't interrupt my sleep kind of person.
I can see that.
Yes.
Dang.
No, but you've got similar struggles.
Yeah, I do. I still kind of do. I mean, mine has evolved. My issues have evolved in different ways than it was previously. Now, this is a background story of I used to sleep like 10 hours a day. I would sleep at 8:30 on the dot, wake up at 6:30 every day. And then my sleep went down to 4 hours per day in college. And that wasn't just because of college. It was my previous partner. Remember that chip thing we used to talk about on the bed?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
There's that. There's being on the phone, laughing and giggling, and listening to true crime.
That's not even a pet peeve. That's just a confusion. Why? How can you sleep after listening about the most recent Special Victims Unit episode about how some girl has been permanently violated? Why is that what you choose to go to bed with in your head?
I don't know, but that is very common. I realize it's common.
Why? How is that? Like, have you ever? No, you don't watch scary movies. Like, okay, so when I decide to watch a scary movie or play a scary game, it used to be that I couldn't go straight to sleep. I would unwind by reading a comic or watching cartoons for a little bit, just to sort of shuffle around what's in my head, get my mind off of the horrible nightmares as Annabelle or Nightmare on Elm Street or whatever else I just watched. You know, just reset. Now I don't give two craps. I can play a horror game and just go straight to sleep. It doesn't bother me. But like true crime is like real. This is like especially the ones that are like based on true stories. It's like, this is horrible. This stuff, that's messed up.
Yep.
And you just gonna make that your lullaby. Okay. No.
Yeah. I've always wondered that as well, but in a sense, it's a guilty pleasure for many, many people.
I want to understand why. I want to understand what makes it attractive to them. And I've talked to my wife about it. I think she explained it to me that it's not just the violent crimes or the horribleness that she's attracted to. She likes the happy ending, the criminal getting caught, the victim getting some sort of closure with the incident. Like, that's what she enjoys. And I'm like, that's great, but you could also just, read up on the most recent humanitarian efforts in the world. Like, I feel like you'd get that same pleasure hit about us feeding the hungry or developing a source of energy that helps clean the environment, But hearing that some so-and-so sadistic SOB is in jail to rot forever or gets a death penalty, it doesn't really hit well in my head.
Me neither.
That's me.
Me neither. Sometimes when I hear it just on the side, it's almost like a villain's arc story. What turned them into a villain? But I totally understand, actually, now that you mention it, what Ali said. It's like hearing a story. It's story time. You get a beginning, the middle, the climax, and then the end. And it's very fascinating for many people, especially for book readers.
Yeah, I can see that.
But at the same time, I agree with you. I don't like to be in dark spaces in the first place, so I try to stay away from that.
Right. And then if the story doesn't have a happy ending, or like it's a cliffhanger where they don't catch the guy, or the victim ends up killed after seeking help, then my wife is just all upset and coming into pieces. And I'm like, stop watching this to sleep.
Incidentally, a lot of people are also scared of people. People are scared of people, yes. That's not exactly what I meant, but something about someone coming in and breaking into your room type of thing versus a ghost. Can you guess which one Data is scared of?
Ghosts.
Yes. The person coming into my room, I have a chance of defending, or I die. Either way, I don't really care.
But ghosts are bullcrap.
Ghosts have an OP skill I can't do anything about it.
Who are you gonna call?
Lycan, please.
I don't got anything for ghosts. I'm sorry. Fresh out of magical doohickeys and knickknacks.
Plays Phasmophobia. It's like, I'll get the ghost for you, Data.
Like, literally the only thing I could do is jump into the ghost's path so that it might kill me instead. That's the only option I have in Phasmophobia.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, Phasmophobia doesn't give you any defenses. Like, Demonologist does. So do some other ghost hunting games, but you're kind of just SOL. You just need to run and not get caught. You can hide, but depending on the ghost, they know where you are regardless. Which is just great.
All right, last pet peeve. Oh,
Go on.
there are two. Bringing the phone to a dinner outside. This is for the people who are just like barely starting out dating and stuff. But have you ever felt like a person across the table suddenly pulls out their phone, and how do you feel? Do you feel like you're just not interesting? Does your mind go crazy? Like, are they enjoying themselves? I would prefer to have like face-to-face time. It's our quality time together type of thing. But, you know, like if you're just starting out dating someone and then they immediately pull out their phone. Now, I know that part of the reason why people do that is because of habit, you know?
Right.
But again, I would just prefer, hey, we went out of our way to go here together.
No, I do agree to that. Like, it's fairly disrespectful, it feels like.
Yeah.
And I try not to make a habit of it myself. I do sometimes, and I'm bad for that. I get it.
Yeah. And then there's the others, like someone trying to look at what's going on your monitor or phone.
Oh, people reading, just being nosy.
Yeah, over your shoulder, or like, oh no, that's caused me to basically never bring my phone out in public ever.
I'll remember that if my baby gets that habit when she's older. I'll just start being nosy, and maybe she'll put the phone away.
Oh my gosh.
Nice.
Father.
Hey,
Oh, father.
sometimes you have to do an evil deed to get a good result.
No, there's a couple of reasons why I don't bring my phone out in public, and one is just safety. One is safety, especially when you're walking around out in public, waiting for a bus, or just sometimes in sketchy areas. I would absolutely never bring my phone out, not even show headphones or like wires around me.
No, I've had that conversation before. I get what you're saying. Like, you become an easy target if you seem unaware of your surroundings.
Right. Or just having something valuable.
Also true.
And then there's the other side where I just want to kind of try to enjoy the outside, look at the sky. I don't look at people, actually. I have an aversion to looking at people.
Oh boy.
Yeah, unless they like are meant to engage with me, like a receptionist, then I'll absolutely look at them and be like, "Hi, how are you?"
I'm gonna meet you in real life. Just have the bag over your head. Be like, "Nice to finally meet you."
I mean, that's kind of part of the plan. Not a bag necessarily.
Oh Lord, that's a later conversation between us. I'm very curious now, but I'm not going to hash that out right now.
I'm gonna have a mask of my data.
God,
I'm dressed just
Lord.
like my avatar.
That's going to be very uncomfortable to wear 24/7.
True.
Speaking of pulling out your phone, I was reading a Reddit story where a girl posted on social media about her date and disliking them. And the guy had, in conversations with her over the dating app where they had met, been informed that she had a social media platform that she liked to post on. So he gave her a follow before the date, you know, just as a like, hey, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't realize, and she posted that she was bored out of her mind and she thought that she was above the guy she was with.
Mm-hmm.
And he got a ding on his phone with that exact update. And he was like, oh, this date's not going very well.
Oh, no.
That's horrible.
Yeah, don't put stuff on social media out, guys. But at the same time, please don't be mean or like bad people.
Right? I think that's the epitome of they're not interested in you.
Yeah.
That irritate me too. Any other pet peeves, man?
No, I mean, there's plenty, I think, out there, but I can't think of anything right now.
We got over some real ones, like the sleep one and the please don't make me listen to you chew your food ones are big for me.
Yeah.
What's the clock look like?
technically an hour and a half.
Jesus Christ, buddy. I think I'm all bantered out. I need some coffee.
I'm so sorry for cutting into our gaming time, but this one was kind of a tough one.
It kind of is, yeah, because like the conversation topics are more nuanced than you would think, honestly.
I would extend it by, what do you mean, like?
Please don't. Please don't. As much as I enjoy doing this, doing the podcast, like I am legitimately bantered out. I can't think of much else, and I need some liquid like wake up juice in my eyeballs, buddy.
Okay, don't pour liquid death in your eyes, please.
I don't have any more liquid death. I need more.
What did you guys think? Have any pet peeves or guilty pleasures of yours? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Until the next Banter Beans episode, see ya.